So for today, something I realized, especially over the past couple months, is that I really just like disappearing sometimes, like just disappearing and working on projects, getting stuff. I've gotten to the point in my entrepreneurial journey where that's just the day to day. And I don't know, that's where I have the most fun. That's where I really get to vibe out and do what I want, kind of like start my day how I want, go to the gym, drink some tea, work on some projects, come up with different content ideas. I really am enjoying this kind of phase of the business and just getting into the learning to love and enjoy the process. And not that I enjoyed it in the past. I actually used to be up till like 2, 3 in the morning. Sometimes stay up all night just working on different projects, building websites. On my first website, I didn't sleep for like a day and a half just trying to build that. And it was just something that I enjoyed about the hustle. It was like I enjoyed the grind of it. What it comes down to is that I feel like a lot of what is around us, phones, TV, shows, movies, the headlines, all of this is just distraction to keep us from focusing on what we could or should be focusing on. Whatever your passion is, whatever you're driven, whatever you care about, whatever you're inspired by, I think there's all these little roadblocks and set up to keep you from focusing on what's really pushing you, what's really driving you, what's really in your heart. I'll delete social media, I'll stop posting, I'll stop kind of checking all the different platforms. I still do. So look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'll get off social media. When I say I get off social media, I used to just delete the app entirely, like just get rid of it, don't open it at all. But what I found after I read this book called Digital Minimalism, where it was talking about digital detoxing and kind of like the effect that social media and just like all this stimulation that we have access to, how it affects us. So I started doing digital detoxes. And when I started doing it, like it really just kind of became a snowball effect because I enjoyed the peace so much. I enjoyed the quiet. I enjoyed the relaxation, the rest. Mix that in with like my meditating. And when I was actually working out right now that I'm back on it, like I would be in such a good mood and in such good spirits when I would go back to social media. It's kind of like when you stop eating meat or if you stop eating fast food for a while and then you go back and you eat it again and you just feel like shit. It just feels horrible. It feels horrible, right? That's kind of how I would feel when it came to social media and just trying to keep up with everybody, looking at everybody's content. It just became so overwhelming and so overstimulating that I kept pushing it further and further away. I was to the point where I would have my phone on black and white just so it's not appealing to look at, to help break that cycle. I would delete apps. I would delete different platforms to help break that cycle. And the more I started to do it, I would see that if I would go turkey, just delete everything, not anything, when I inevitably would go back, it would be such a massive swing in the other direction, constantly checking it, constantly on it, constantly pulling my phone out. So I had to really figure where was that happy balance? Where was that medium? There's this really good interview from J. Cole, basically talking about you get from social media, how addictive it is. As much as you want to pull away from it, you just keep getting pulled back to it. You figure out why is this pulling me? Why do I do this? Once you're able to recognize that, I think it becomes a lot easier if you decide to move with intention and decide, okay, this is what I'm going to use it for. This is how I'm going to use it. It still doesn't come all the way easy. It still takes some time and some effort. I'm not perfect whatsoever. I'm still working on just actively pulling away. And a lot of times I think it might be rooted in some sense of FOMO or feeling like you're going to miss out and not be in the know or not get the joke or get the meme or not know what everybody's talking about. And that's kind of something you have to reconcile with. It wasn't super hard for me. I was kind of always the contrarian. I always went against the grain just naturally. So when I see there's something that's pulling everybody, like most people are affected by this and it's pulling them, it seems like if not done intentionally, then there was some mechanics behind it that knew, okay, it's going to have this effect. And just in realizing that and seeing that and not wanting to feel like I was being controlled or being pulled in any direction, didn't like personally want to go like this isn't in alignment with what I want to do, then I wanted to make sure I at least put forth the effort to try and control that and put a limit to the power that it has over me. And I think that's something I might have got from my dad, because I remember when we were moving, but we had got a U-Haul, we drove up to Sac, and we were driving around. I was texting this girl, right? So my phone kept going off, notifications kept going off. Every time it go off, we in the car, I pull my phone out, send a text back. Phone go off, pull my phone out, send a text back. And he's peeping me out the side of his eye, like, you got to remember, this is what, 20 years ago, maybe? Don't age me. Don't judge me. 20 something years ago, I had the little Nokia brick phone, right? I remember he told me like, yo, don't let that shit get you hooked or don't let that shit control you. It was something to the extent of don't let that shit control you. I don't remember exactly what it was, but something to that extent always stuck with me, especially once I started like reading different books, see movies like the Facebook movie, and just kind of understanding this kind of attachment addiction relationship we start to with technology and social media. I know this is detrimental to my health. Going out getting drunk all the time, like, you know, it's detrimental to your health. But if you continue to choose it, you're no longer a victim, you're a volunteer. You can't be knowledgeable of what it's doing and continue to choose it and be like, oh, I'm a victim of this. Like, no, you volunteer for that. You know eating like shit is going to make you feel sick, is going to make you overweight, you're not going to like it, but you're continuing to eat like that. You're not changing your eating habits, you're not working out more, you're not limiting your alcohol or your sugar, you're not doing what it takes to get healthy. So you're choosing to be in this life, you're choosing to be in this situation. Me and food have a very interesting relationship that we probably got to talk about one day, but another conversation for another time. But yeah, I can't continue to show up on social media and continue to use social media knowing how I feel about it and like how I feel like it's controlling me. Doing all my detoxes, the more I would do it, the more I would limit my access to it. And now I feel like I found a kind of happy balance where I have it and I use it because I have to be able to post, I have to be able to go on for my business, respond to DMs, shit like that. And engagement is a really big part of that. So you have to do some type of engagement. But I limit the amount of time. I try to limit the amount of time I'm on there. I'll go on, scroll for literally like maybe 1 to 2 seconds, see kind of what's popping, and then I'm off. I don't really watch a lot of stories because it just becomes a cycle. You start watching and you want to keep watching more and it just keeps going. And I prefer not to get sucked into that, so I just limit the amount that I use it. I don't go on TikTok, and that's really only Instagram. Now, I really only do that with Instagram. Threads, I'll go on and like maybe post or engage here and there. Same with Twitter, just kind of see what the headlines are. TikTok, I really don't check that much. TikTok is really going to start to be like just a mainly distribution platform. If it gets traffic, if it gets awareness, cool, but it's not going to be top priority. Same with Instagram. YouTube is where I'm going all in, so everything else just kind of becomes ancillary. When the time is to focus there, I'll focus there, but it's not that right now. I am able to limit my use to it, not allowing myself to scroll, not allowing myself to really go on and look at anything. And now it's to the point where I don't even want to anymore. Like, I'll do it still out of habit sometimes, but it's more on Threads and Twitter now, so I can read different stuff. I don't really have the same pull that I used to just want to scroll and see content. It kind of grosses me out a little bit now, not gonna lie. I am very, very selective on what I choose to consume, and I don't choose to consume a lot of social media content. I'll consume YouTube. I'll watch a YouTube video. I'll watch a shit ton of YouTube videos, video essays, podcasts, all that. I watch all that, because it's actually training me to be able to sit through longer pieces of content and actually see what comes from consuming more in-depth value. You're able to get past those surface level topics. You can call yourself an expert, but if you've only learned from TikTok and Instagram, I promise there's a lot of shit that you don't know. You just don't realize it yet. So yeah, I'll consume a lot from YouTube. That's like my main content source. TVs, movies, music. Like, out of anything, I consume YouTube the most, and I prefer it that way. It really much happier with my mindset, my mental clarity, like my want to post content, be engaged with content. Like, I love its value and its purpose, and of course I use it for my business as a marketing standpoint and to build my own brand. But as far as consuming content myself, it's not something that appeals to me whatsoever. I'm sorry. And I know to each their own. Everybody chooses to consume what they want. It's just not for me in that way, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I honestly think that has had one of, if not the biggest, positive impact. I can't say that's the only one for sure, because working out consistently, eating better, detaching from social media and content while still understanding how to use it, it's a much more preferred experience, at least for me. I think that's it. But yeah, all right, for sure. Thank you. I'll see y'all in the next one. Love y'all. Bye.